And yes, I will be reading from a script for this video because my autistic ass will have to do so many fucking retakes. If I don't, fuck off. So the amount of noise reduction I had to do for that Imagine Dragons video was pretty horrific. So I'm using the more expensive microphone with the better output. But the problem is that the feedback, if I try to listen to myself through headphones, it doesn't work. So hopefully the sound levels are gonna be okay for this vid. One time at work, a coworker was playing music on her phone and Angel with a Shotgun by The Cab came on. It actually took me a moment to recognize it because it was playing at a fairly quiet volume and I hadn't thought about that song in years. Symphony Soldier, the album that opens with this track, was one that I had in modest rotation during middle school. A couple weeks later, during a weekend trip, I thought I would put the album on for nostalgia's sake and, well, it was bad. It was pretty bad. It was really bad. I had to turn it off 4 songs in and ended up switching to, I don't know, Boy with Uke or something. Even back in the day, I thought bits of the artistic direction were at the very least questionable, but looking at it with fresh eyes as a young adult, there's some seriously egregious songwriting happening here. And I can't stand being the only person thinking about this godforsaken album.
Take my nuisance, set me free. Light my home on fire, take me higher than I wanna be.
The Cab was an FBR band starting from 2007 and released their debut album a year later. Then in 2011, they were like, actually, we want to be more like Justin Timberlake and Maroon 5. So they left FBR and independently dropped this album later that year. Then in 2012, they signed with Republic Records, released an EP in 2014, and promptly dipped the fuck out. That's the extent of background info that I'm willing to throw together for you for this video, because I don't care enough to do more research, and I don't think you care to hear it either. Let's just get into the album. I'm gonna throw some numbers at you before we get into the content of this track. The official YouTube audio of Angel with a Shotgun has 1.4 million views. A fan-made music video has 1.6 million views. Official audio from Z Entertainment, which looks like had some hand in managing or promoting the band at the time, has 12 million views. The most popular lyric video has 16 million views. Finally, the song has over 200 million streams on Spotify. Now, I want you to guess how many views the unofficial Nightcore version has on YouTube. Go ahead, guess. Yep, just speak right into the— It's 250 million! That's like 100 times worse than the Glee cover being the more successful and widely praised version of your original song, and about infinitely more embarrassing. And, you know, listen, if your song is in the backdrop as some loser middle schooler writes fan fiction, or it's the one they choose to put in their AMV that gets millions of views, that's a great legacy. That's a badge I would proudly wear with honor. But when the lyrics are so surface level, they sound like something straight out of Has-Been Hotel, it's gonna make me raise my eyebrows a bit. Alright, it's Future Jasmine editing this video, popping in here. You will see me once more towards the end of the video. So the thing that I should clarify my point about Has-Been Hotel. Someone might think that I'm comparing the depth of Symphony Soldier to the music from Has-Been Hotel, which is not the case at all, because as anyone would tell you, the music is by far the best part of that show. What I mean about the writing being so surface level is that I'm comparing it to how Has-Been runs as a show with its plot. Like, all the plot beats just like just charging straight on through and not really surprising the viewer. Not in the sense of like surprising as in shock value, because that's kind of the point of the show, but like surprising the viewer as like giving them something to really like chew on with like its themes and stuff, because the groundwork is there, but then in execution's just— Angel with a Shotgun is a pretty inoffensive track. In fact, for the first third of the song, it's actually a tiny bit interesting, if not cliche as hell. The core imagery of an angel wielding a shotgun is definitely goofy, but I think think it could be a neat concept if the execution was handled properly. Fighting for love at the expense of your own social standing or even safety is an overdone trope dating back at least centuries, but it's a trope that I'm an absolute sucker for if, again, executed well. Now, this is where we run into one of the big issues I have with the song. If you're telling a story to get some meaningful message across, it's only as impactful as the sum of its parts. What do I mean by this? Let's say you're one of the writers for this song. You've got this really cool idea, you're gonna make a great song about putting your life on the line for love. You would die for your lover. Great, you have a hero with a clear goal in mind. You finish writing this song and it's catchy, it's badass, you proclaim you're gonna live and not just survive, and that's the extent of your conflict. You're saying over and over again about being a soldier fighting in a war, but what is it exactly that you're fighting against? Is it the resentment you feel towards your girlfriend for being obligated to be a caring adult and actually respond to her emotional needs? Because love is a choice and relationships take work and it's just so hard for you.
I'm an angel with a shotgun, fighting till the war's won. I don't care if heaven won't take me back. I'll throw away my faith, babe, just to keep you safe. Don't you know you're everything I have?
What war are you fighting? And what thing do you have faith that you're willing to throw away for this person? What involvement does heaven have in this? The only good explanation I'd be willing to take is that this song is about spreading the gay agenda, which I approve of wholeheartedly. Even then, that flavor of the agenda is still only as striking as something, again, straight out of Has Been Hotel.
Sometimes to win, you've got to sin. Don't mean I'm not a believer.
Whoa, 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 careful. Careful. The morality of homosexuality in Christianity is a highly contested matter. Think before you speak, man.
And Major Tom will sing along. Yeah, they still say I'm a dreamer.
Okay. I can do this. Okay. For those that may not be aware, Major Tom is a character created by David Bowie that was first introduced in the song Space Oddity. The song was inspired by the film 2001: A Space Odyssey and was pushed as a single to capitalize on the Apollo 11 moon landing in 1969. Major Tom is an astronaut that gets lost in space after losing communication with ground control. In 1980, Bowie released a sequel to Space Oddity titled Ashes to Ashes. We learn that Major Tom is still alive, but he's not doing so hot. It's a direct reference to Bowie struggling to kick his addiction to cocaine. The creative story of Major Tom represents resigned isolation, drug abuse, confronting one's own mortality, whatever. And I cannot, for the life of me, fathom why the Cab thought it made sense to reference this character in a corny-ass love song.
I can't keep touching you like this if it's just temporary bliss.
This song is okay. Yeah, it's okay. It's tolerable, just like Angel with a Shotgun and like every other song on this album. It's catchy and sounds good, if not a little dated listening to it in the present day. However, I could definitely do without the distortion effect on the vocals over this gorgeous instrumentation. Like, if you're gonna take the jump from alt-rock to pop, especially when the record sounds this sparkly and organic, you can go ahead and just cut out all remnants of Edge. Why am I saying this? This album came out 13 years ago and they haven't released anything in a decade. I'm talking to no one. So the lyrics are fine. People deserve to have real love in their lives if they so want it, and those that emotionally manipulate them for sexual gratification are shitty people that need to self-reflect on their own needs. But genuinely, I forget that this song exists, so let's move on to the next one.
But I don't want a good girl, no, not today. 'Cause I want it bad.
So I don't know about you guys, but personally I am an album enjoyer. I think that track sequencing matters. I refuse to listen to projects on shuffle, which is why it drives me up the fucking wall when I listen to an album and it's like I'm listening to it on shuffle, because they have these drastic mood changes in between songs for no fucking apparent reason. It was a problem I had with Thank You Next. It was a problem I had with Mercury, which you already know if you saw my Imagine Imagine Dragons video because I think I dunked on that album like 7 times. And it's definitely a problem I have here. On Symphony Soldier, track 1 is about how love is a battle that the cat will die for. On track 2, he's lamenting about the lack of emotional attachment with somebody he's hooking up with. It therefore follows, surely, that track 3 will continue this theme of wanting something more out of this miserable life. Right, this poet will share his musings of yearning for real connection in a world that only cares about instant gratification and restrictive traditional Christian values.
It feels just like it was yesterday. We were in love, was it falling apart? I've never been one to walk away, but I've had enough, and it's breaking my heart.
Aha! Yes! He's finally leaving his person with benefits for something better. It takes a lot of courage and self-respect to remove yourself from a demeaning situation, so I give this man kudos.
'Cause you love me just the way that you should. It's nothing that you do, no, it's nothing you say. Yeah, baby, I know that you're good, but I don't want a good girl, no, not today. 'Cause I want it bad, I want a bad girl, baby, bad. I want a love that's crazy, yeah. I want a bad girl, baby, bad. I want it bad.
Oh, no. Sorry, I was mistaken. He seems to be talking about someone else, because there's just no coherence in the storytelling here. Okay. No, we can make this work. Because, sometimes relationships can have periods of stagnation, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to deviate from routine and spice things up a bit as long as you're both down for it. I think it's healthy to have this kind of open communication with your partner.
I want a girl who stays out too late, and when I call, she doesn't answer the phone. Oh, I want a girl who likes it her way, and through it all, I know I'll end up alone. 'Cause I want it bad, I want a bad girl, baby, bad. I want a love that's crazy, yeah. I wanna fight, I wanna rock and roll and party all night.
Your boyfriend breaks up with you. The last thing he says is, "It's not you, it's me. You are a wonderful girlfriend and you're so good to me, but I want something different." You're at a total loss. You don't understand how your relationship was suddenly derailed like this. But eventually, you come around and figure that it just wasn't meant to be. A bit of time passes and your girlfriends convince you to come out to the club with them. Lo and behold, your ex is across the bar with his buddies. He takes a shot, snorts a line of coke, says rock and roll like some fucking white dude. There are some bad bitches out on the dance floor tonight. He slides up to this one girl in particular, and she's the baddest bitch of them all. Her aura oozes confidence. He gets a little too loose with her. She tries to physically distance herself at first. He follows. He keeps asking her why she hasn't called him back, and she keeps telling him to fuck off. She finally shoves him, which sends him back bumping into someone else. One thing leads to another. Next thing you know, the club looks like the I'm Just Ken fight scene from the Barbie movie. Group dance number and everything. For a moment, you ponder if your ex has always been like this and he managed to tone himself down around you, or if he's suddenly in some mental spiral as a song by Katy Perry is blaring through the speakers. But the thought quickly passes as your top priority is to get the hell out of there. You ditch your friends and head outside for some fresh air, and wouldn't you know it, the girl from the dance floor has done the same. You apologize, but you're not sure for what. He's not your boyfriend. He's responsible for his own decisions regardless. You two exchange some words, laugh about what assholes men can be. She looks stunning in the moonlight. You're so lost in your own head that you don't realize you've said it out loud until the words have left your mouth. For a split second, you think you're going to die from embarrassment until she smiles and compliments you right back. Your eyes linger for a moment, stealing glances at each other's lips. A different song by Katy Perry comes to mind. You've both had a little too much to drink, so you call an Uber. About a minute in, you realize that she needs to get home too. You offer to cover her ride back, but she gives you this look and asks if it's okay if she crashes at your place tonight. Your stomach is doing somersaults. Not and tell her, yeah, that's fine. And that's all you can say because everything else is caught in your throat. You hide your shaking hands while you unlock the door to your house. The moment the door closes, she pins you against the wall and you two start making out. Oh, I'm sorry! Were you locked in? Just imagine how it feels being me for a second, okay? I would rather spend time writing something you could find on any fanfiction website for any fandom that has a sapphic pairing, write it, record it, edit it, then spend another second talking to or thinking about this song, okay? Like, he's singing about doing things that will make him miserable to the sound of something out of High School Musical. The crazy love he wants in question was the very thing that he was lamenting in Temporary Bliss. Make it make some fucking sense! Alright, we're on to track 4. If you remember from my intro, which, be real, you probably don't thanks to that sapphic detour, this is where I had to turn the album off and switch to something that, I don't know, didn't make me feel like I wanted to rip somebody's throat out. If you look on Spotify, this is the second most streamed track of the record. Fan-made lyric video on YouTube has 9 million views, and the official music video with Haley Steinfeld in the thumbnail has 5 million views. It's kind of popular, and if I turn off most of my brain cells, I get it. I'm a sucker for piano pop ballads, and instrumentally, this song is beautiful. It's got a sweet sentiment if you're kind of stupid or if English isn't your first language.
There's a shop down the street where they sell plastic rings for the quarter piece. I swear it, yeah, I know that it's cheap, not like gold in your dreams, but I hope that you'll still wear it.
Granted, it's not the best proposal, but it's not the worst. It's endearing in a childlike way, actually. And chances are, if you find the right girl, she just might take you up on that offer.
Yeah, the ink may stain my skin, and my jeans may all be ripped. I'm not perfect, but I swear I'm perfect for you.
Well, duh, nobody's perfect. We're all human and have our own shortcomings, but who cares about trivial things like outward appearances or how much money you're able to spend on a symbolic piece of jewelry? It's about what's inside, man.
There's no guarantee that this will be easy. It's not a miracle you need. Believe in me. Yeah, I'm no angel, I'm just me, but I will love you endlessly. Wings aren't what you need. You need me.
Okay. I hate to bring gender into the— No, guys, hear me out, okay? All I'm saying is that this man is centering his feelings about the relationship a little, just a little too much for my liking. He claims that he's perfect for this girl even though he can't get her the engagement ring she wants, after going on about how he's not the best dude and there's a chance their relationship won't be easy. He ends it by telling this girl how much she needs him. Yes, there is some course correction in the second verse, saying that he'll work hard to afford the house she really likes, but not only is it unbelievable that he'll buy her a fucking house when he can't afford an engagement ring, but any sweet sentiment from the verse gets ruined by the self-righteous crooning in the bridge. We don't get any specific or broad indication about how or why this girl needs him, just the guy saying it over and over again. It leaves a bad taste in my mouth, especially with the context of the previous track. This guy has nothing going for him, nothing to offer except claims of how he will love this girl endlessly. Ask yourselves, what does a love like that look like, and is that something you would want for yourself?
Take away the roads and baby, I will learn to fly. 'Cause in this darkened state, feel like I could cry. Feel so suffocated by that want to thrive. Need a little bit more of that jungle life. A tiger screaming, ain't no sleeping for you tonight.
Oh shit, wrong song. Okay, fuck. Hang on, let me fix this. What is this song about? A cyborg? That can't be right. Where's the fucking song?
Oh, baby, I'm playing on you tonight. Hunt you down, eat you alive. Just like animals, like animals.
No, we don't want this. We want the other song written by Adam Levine. Where's the where? Oh my god. Wait, it is this one? It is this one. Okay. Yeah, I don't really have much to say about this track. You know, basically it's just about two emotionally empty people having some allegedly great sex.
Crawling on your hands and knees slowly over to me. Reach out to touch my face. Anticipation push me up against the wall. Whispers and licks and all these tricks you try and pull. Manipulation.
So now that we're halfway into the album's track run, we finally found a good song. Intoxicated has fun lyrics and perfect instrumentation, and it's genuinely a blast to listen to. I actually seriously recommend you go check it out. And I'm not going to play a snippet because I don't want to spoil the surprise and joy of hearing it for the first time. So we've got yet another non-sexy song from the Cab about lust. Man is here for a sex time, not for a long time.
Like a symphony, like a symphony, like a symphony tonight. Sex like a symphony, like a symphony, like a symphony tonight.
I'm sorry, is this the symphony in question that you're making love to? Can I suggest something that's at least a little more tasteful?
I'm not like the other boys, 'cause with you I've got no choice. You make me wanna lose my voice. I just wanna get you sideways. No, I'm not the type to lie, but I might just start tonight. Let me turn off all these lights. You know that you could be my favorite lullaby. What would you do if I told you that I loved you? Do if I said it tonight? What would you do if I told you that I loved you? 'Cause you know I love the lie.
Oh, so you're gonna lie to this girl and tell her you love her in hopes that you get more sex? You know, the thing that you were against in temporary bliss? Yeah, no, that's okay. That's cool. No, that's great. That's really great. I hope you really do lose your voice, you fucking dickhead. Before we get into the lyrical content of the song, I just need to say right away that I've always hated how this man emphasized the wrong syllable of the word religion, and the way that it repeats just really fucking grates on my ears. Many years ago, as a good Lutheran child, I didn't really like this song. Comparing the love you feel for your partner to religion, that's blasphemous. Today, as an atheist heathen, I think it's mostly inoffensive. The trope of the man in the relationship feeling lost without his woman wouldn't even bother me here if I didn't have the context of the previous tracks. But also, From personal experience, I do get it. Something about being in love with a woman does make it feel like you're seeing God every time she says your name. Aside from the absolutely diabolical pronunciation of the word religion, the song's melody is beautiful, but corniness is not my biggest problem with these lyrics. There's a much grosser oversight at play here. It's straight. I'm sorry, you can't just write a song about rejecting Christian institutions and replacing it with the love of a woman and not make it gay. It doesn't work. The only way it works in a straight context is if there's some serious underlying religious trauma that's adversely impacted your relationship with intimacy. And, you know, you could arguably make a case for it, but personally I think it's giving more cultural lapsed Catholic than a genuine crisis of faith. So the song, it's by far my least favorite on the album because it's so bitter and whiny.
Remember when I said I loved you and you said it wasn't true?
Well, depending on which girl we're talking about here, she isn't wrong.
I gave you everything you ever wanted, and you gave me nothing but grief. Now that I'm gone, you see, I'm no missing piece. Well, good luck finding another me.
Alright, so for a moment, let's ignore the previous tracks that indicate that this guy is in fact the problem and act in good faith, read the song in a vacuum. Alright, what exactly did this girl do? She insulted his music, didn't care for the flowers he gave her, walked all over him, and gave him shit all the time. Sure, I bet that really stings, but you know what? I don't think she cares enough to be sad about you leaving. So writing an entire bridge about this fantasy where she's crying herself to sleep and hoping you were still there is nothing but a waste of time, my dude.
Remember how I used to miss you? Now you don't even cross my mind.
Like, I'm sorry, this is just sad and embarrassing. Is this what the cab thought people that had recently suffered a bad breakup would actually want to listen to? Here, I'm just gonna see something. Let's see, what other music was popular that year? Let's see. Billboard Hot 100 2011. Okay. Let's see. At the number one position, Adele! Why listen to Symphony Soldier when you just can put on 21? What the fuck?
Now don't you know that karma is bitch? I should've known better. If I would've
Grow Up and Be Kids isn't bad. It sounds very good. In fact, I can say it's not good at all, but it's not bad. Not to mention, it doesn't belong on this album. Sure, let's throw in a song about reminiscing on youth and friendship on the tail end of a record about relationship drama. What the hell were they thinking?
like a lovesick fool.
Lovesick Fool is actually an alright song, even if the lyric about the half empty, not half bed, See, I can't even say it. That's how nonsensical it is. There's a lyric about his bed being half empty, not half full. Like, dude, it's a bed. What do you mean? Also, you can be a lovesick fool and a human. They're not mutually exclusive. I'd even argue that to be human is to be a lovesick fool.
Baby, I'm living louder.
And then finally, to close us out, Living Louder is the second best song on Symphony Soldier. It's actually kind of good. Like Grow Up and Be Kids, however, it also does not belong on this album.
Let me kiss a stranger and rob the local bank. Let me become real rich so I can give it all away.
Well, did you hear that, folks? The man wants to seize capital and redistribute it to the poor. I hereby absolve him of all his crimes against humanity for making this album.
Baby, I'm living louder, dreaming longer tonight. Baby, I'm fighting harder, loving stronger tonight.
Okay, there's spit coming out of my mouth.
Hey, Vaggie
What?
The cab.
is at the door.
What?
What should I
Don't let him in.
Loving stronger tonight.
Would not have been possible without them. Here's the thing, Smithfield does stuff like this all the time, but the thing is they can't do it on their own. It's about spending more time to fill the truck. Here, get yourself some paper, some pencils. Does it look like we're running out of food? Okay, you can go to the loan department, that's fine. Yeah. Come on in, man. This gentleman right here, Chandler, he's the head of our loan department. We'll help you secure that.
Have a well-oiled machine running, and we will get all these dogs to level. That seems simple. Can you clap for me? There you go. All the loans here.
It's day number 2, and we brought a lot more people. And now we're gonna try to plant the 20 million trees.
So Symphony Soldier is, for the most part, an album about the tumultuous war of modern-day dating fought by a young man who is battling his own inner demons of lust and emotional immaturity. Depending on the girl and depending on the day, he's either in love or just looking for someone to fuck. Of course, there's nothing wrong with just wanting someone to fuck, but it's certainly hypocritical and, dare I say, misogynistic when you trash on women for doing the same thing. There are moments where he does have some self-awareness about how he's fucking himself over and mistreating some of the women in his life, but it's drowned out by a sea of stupidity and deflection and an utter disregard for personal accountability. Then at the very end of this miserable project, our guy realizes that time is finite, getting older sucks, and he's gonna change absolutely nothing about how he's living life right now, except he's gonna do the same things even more. So towards the end of the editing process for making this video, I thought I would check out the rest of the Cab's discography, and as it turns out, it's actually pretty decent. The issues I have with Symphony Soldier are just exclusive to that record, because what the other projects do, I think they succeed at, because with Whisper War, you have, you know, thematically, lyrically, sonically, whatever. It sounds like something you would hear from Panic at the Disco or Fall Out Boy from the mid to late 2000s, which makes absolute sense because they were label mates, and Patrick Stump and Brendan Urie had a hand in collaborating and helping make that record. And then with Lock Me Up, you still have that pop sound, but it's more rhythmic and the aesthetic is darker, and I think it's definitely more focused in what it's trying to do, you know, being about his mental state. So the thing about Symphony Soldier is that they definitely had a clear vision, but I don't think it works because stylistically it's just not a good fit for the band, which is really interesting because instrumentally, as I've said before, all the songs, they sound good, they're gorgeous. But then, forgetting about the content of the lyrics for a moment, from a compositional standpoint, like how the songs flow and structure and how the melodies, most of the time, they just really just pass through. I mean, there are some really janky moments, don't get me wrong, but I did not highlight those because that's not the focus of this video. As a pop record, this should be really good. It should be really good. I do see a lot of potential in it, and I do see why people really latched onto this and enjoyed it. And what's even more impressive is that they rolled this out independently. There is no doubt about the musical talent of these guys. I have no doubt about their ability to make good stuff. It's just that lyrically, it makes me really, really mad. So that's my issue. Also, the fact that the name of the album is Symphony Soldier kind of implies that it's going to be this higher art form that has more thought into it. And as far as I'm concerned, from an instrumental standpoint, yes, it works. But the lyrics, they leave me wanting more, and it really drags down the quality. Anyways, if you want to listen to an album with a narrative that has authentic love and conflict with men making poor life decisions all through the lens of religious themes and imagery with actually well thought out lyricism, you should give my latest project a try. It may not have glossy production, but it's actually trying to accomplish something. You know, which is not to say that the Cab weren't trying to accomplish something with this record, but the thing that I'm trying to do is more important. Okay, yeah, that's it. Bye!